Hey guys, welcome to Shin's Green's garden tour. Right now it's mid-late September 2020 and I am transitioning to a fall garden, so that's why it seems pretty empty here. It's only because in that spot right here I really don't get any sunlight in the fall and in the winter. So let's see what we have here. Over here in this corner I have some onions that are really slow to grow. I think it's because they just have not gotten enough sun. Here I have some bok choy. Okay, they're just starting out. Over here I have some strawberries that I grew from seed from store-bought strawberries. And this particular plant, this one right here, produces the best tasting strawberries among all of my plants. And luckily I've got some runners coming off this plant, so I'm propagating them. So I've got them sitting in separate pots so they can set root, and once they mature then I can cut off the stem here and have two more plants that are identical to this one. And so eventually, I want to select out my best tasting strawberries and propagate those, and eventually get rid of my other ones that don't taste as good. So right here I've got Hawaiian papayas. I've got two of them, or three of them here. These are grown from seed, and I did another video on them, on how to do that. Very easy to grow from seed. These are pomegranates, also grown from seed. Again, super easy to sprout from seed. Right here I have a cherry moya, this right here. This one also grew from seed. It's super slow to grow, so I've never grown this before, and I haven't seen any videos on YouTube on how to do that, so I think that'll be really interesting to see how that turns out. Right here I've got lemons, lemon trees also grown from seed. Again, there's a separate video on that. And these are more Hawaiian papayas, and they are looking really good. So here I have a lychee that grew from seed, and this one came out from my compost. Oh, there's Mojo saying hi. Hi, baby. Okay, so this is lychee. It's a beautiful plant, but it grows really slow. Here I've got a Dinosaur Kale, or a lacinato kale. Looking pretty good. This right here is a raspberry that grew from my compost. It's looking a little bit ratty, so there was actually a second plant here that I sacrificed because this pot seemed too small to support two plants. So I sacrificed one, and I just fertilized it yesterday, so I think it just needed more fertilizers. I think that's why it's not looking too good. And it is throwing off some new canes. So this shoot came off of this plant here. So, raspberries sort of propagate on their own in that way. And right here I've got another Hawaiian papaya. This is my biggest one so far. It's looking really good. I mean, isn't that beautiful? They just grow so fast. Okay, let's head over to my other balcony. Okay, this is my south-facing balcony, and this balcony, as you can see, is very tiny, but this is a spot where I get the most sunlight during the fall and winter. And so I have utilized every square inch of this space. So let's see what we have going on here. Okay, let's start on this ledge right here. Here I've got some green beans. These are bush beans. And it's warm enough in this climate that I can do easily another batch because these grow super fast. And here I've got some carrots that are almost ready to harvest. As you can see, if you see the tops of the carrot peeking out, do you see that right there? It's not really cool. So I think I'm going to let these go a little bit longer. I do want to get some bigger carrots this season. Okay, here I've got some romaine lettuces that I just transplanted yesterday. So they look a little ratty, but they will fill in very nicely. Okay, here I've got some Hawaiian papayas, and I had a bunch of other Hawaiian papayas on my other balcony, but had a little extra space here, so I wanted to squeeze that in. Here I've got bok choy and more bok choy. I've got 5 bok choys. Okay, and then this right here is dragon fruit that came up from my compost. I've never grown dragon fruit before, and they grow super slowly, and every time I try to transplant them, they pretty much die. So we'll see how this turns out. I don't have super high hopes for that. And right here I've got some mint. Everything here, every single thing here was grown from seed. Okay, in this corner I've got some beets, which I've already thinned out, and there's a little empty spot, so I'm gonna plant 1 or 2 more seeds in that spot right there. Here I've got a cabbage. This is just some old parsley, just to fill in that spot there. Here I've got Daikon radishes that are growing really well. I tried growing these over the spring and they just got destroyed by aphids, so I'm just trying them again. I wonder if they like cooler weather, so let's see how that goes. And here I've got cucumbers. Again, I'm fortunate that I live in a warmer climate, so I can easily grow another batch of cucumbers now, in mid-September. Okay, let's look over here. I've got my beautiful pepper plant. This is the best pepper plant I have ever grown in my life. I mean, it was just so full of peppers. I harvested a lot over the past few weeks, and they're still producing. I mean, look how gorgeous that is. Just so beautiful. And I'm gonna keep this going over the winter and see if it'll produce again next summer. Here I've got a Caracara orange tree that I grew from seed from just a grocery store orange. And they do have some leaf minor damage underneath, but I think that's okay. And there's still some new growth. It's still overall looking pretty good. And this is, I have got green onions here that are doing really well, and romaine lettuce. And this lettuce, and also the lettuce that I showed you over here, these lettuces I grew from seed that I saved from my own lettuce last season. So this is my first time growing lettuce from my own seeds, so that is so cool. And right here I've got a grapefruit that I sprouted from seed, and it's got some insect damage. I love grapefruit, and I'm hoping that this one matures and it does okay. Okay, well there you go. That's my garden tour for the season.